Ah, ah, ah. We have to talk about Patreon now. Oh, oh, Patreon. There are people out there that they tell me, boy, you should really be doing something to make some money. I'm like, what? I'm just talking. And they say, no, I want to support you. I can see you're thirsty. I would like to send you some beer. And I'm like, I don't know anything about that. And they say, go to Patreon. And I look up Patreon and I'm like, oh, geez, it means you have to do another channel of some sort. It means you have to add more to what you're already doing. And, what I'm doing is fine by me. But to say, oh, Patreon, oh, now you have to put something special in there. And so I'm like, okay, maybe I'll just do a Patreon special once a week thing where I can talk about things that I've written over the years, the way I see things. Maybe I could make $2 a video and it would cover some of my beer. But I just to take into consideration and wonder if it would ever work. I went out to my car where I've got like 4 notebooks of of my stories in China, front to back, 4 notebooks. The best stuff is not written. There you go. So I figured maybe I'll just grab some of these books and say, hey, I'll read a story. I'm opening it up and reading right where I opened it up. I actually had it in mind how I was going to go to the zombie Jesus story that I had in there. But I found something else and I said, this is just fine. So, not that we're going to do a Patreon thing yet, but the idea. If you like the idea of just doing Judas readings on Patreon once a week, I can delve into some of my best stuff. This is just stuff I grabbed that's in a pile. If you want to, this is kind of an example of what you might get. It's just something from my time when I went into China. It is from the forthcoming novel, China Winter, but it's just in here. You will not have seen this anywhere before me. $30,000. If you use it, which I implore you to do so. I invite you to do so. I encourage you to use this stuff. But we've already made the deal right here. $30,000, I'll let you have some of it. And with hurrying along with all of our stuff. Why? Oh, I don't know. But hurrying along anyway into a tunnel way, Jimmy said, there'll be people hawking their stuff up here. Don't buy anything. They're not supposed to be here. That's us going into China. Isn't that interesting? The United States makes a big deal about immigrants even in China, they have problems with it. They're not supposed to be here. High about it. Customs, a large, almost brightly lit, almost modern looking room, looking serious, but moving fast. You see this hat? I got this hat from Ukraine after being held in not customs, custody. I was held in custody. They thought I was a spy. You spy. You spy. I'm like, why is it that in the United States of America, if they don't want you here, they just kick your ass out? But in the Ukraine, they keep people there. I'm like, oh my gosh, they want me to breed with their most beautiful women. I could not live up to that, that sort of, you know what you call it, responsibility. Even the prettiest of silverware does not want to be eaten with. But so yeah, Jimmy handed me a couple of sheets of paper fill out covered with blanks and Chinese characters. I mean, letters, dumbass. Not Hong Kong Fui, Fu Manchu, the Monkey King, or anything like that. I looked at it, wondered, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this? Jimmy said, turn it over, dude, fill it out. Staying close to him, we jostled into the swarm of people that formed lines. The little sheets were for health and customs. I guess it didn't matter if they were filled out with bullshit or not, because that's what I did, dragging our gear along, scrawling as we went. The lines of people were being sucked into China, some probably to be lost forever. I asked Jimmy what to write in the destination blank. He told me just to write Shenzhen and the name of a hotel, like it really didn't matter. I suppose it didn't. I didn't know where I was going, and I don't think they bothered trying to read it. If they could read English at all, I could feel electricity firing through my brains as I stepped up to a hard looking Chinese guy in military garb. I've seen that in airports and train stations before. Wasn't alarmed. Tried to look serious. That's easier for me to do. Easy for me to do. I think it usually translates a fear or anger. It's not lice. Not like I was. He took one, gonna try to knock over customs or anything. He took one of my sheets, looked at my passport, visa, really quick, papers, barely glanced at me, gave the old rubber stamp. I was in. I don't know how many people feel a sense of relief when they find themselves in China, but I did. I had no place to go back to. Had crossed my Rubicon. This was it. Big time, baby. So I guess that's what you get if I ever start a goddamn Patreon account for my channel, so you can buy me drinks. And here's the thing. People like to say, oh, you should not encourage somebody. Oh, what a terrible person to encourage them to go down that path. No, this is a path I'm on. If you want a beer, if you want to give me one, if you want to drink together, I'm already on this path. Don't worry about hurting me. As it turns out, the way the world's working, I might just steal to get my beer. See? People have problems. But that's it. That's just some random piece of shit out of context that you can get if you buy the forthcoming novel China Winter and and apply to the Judas Patreon account if I ever get around to doing it. Everything's gonna be okay. Let's have some fun.